Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
I am Joe.
And today, guys, we bring you the review of Final Stranger of Paradise.
Schweiss is having a stroke right now.
We never finished. Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin Demo 2.
Yes. The long-awaited.
Yeah, the much-anticipated review of the much-anticipated second demo of the much-anticipated game.
Krinital, the biggest Final Fantasy fan I believe either of us know, personally at least, didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah, that's how badly marketed it is. I wonder if he's also getting to the point where he sees a name like Stranger of Paradise and he's just kind of bothered.
Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, I believe, is the full title. A reimagining of the world of FF1 or possibly the whole story of FF1. Do you know about that?
It's supposed to be a reimagining of the entire thing, yeah.
Okay, so basically FF1 remake.
Yeah. Complete remake, yeah.
Complete remake. No longer turn-based, obviously. But, yeah. Well, what do you got for us?
So, the game is set to come out in March of 2022. I'd be surprised if it did, I personally, but I don't know. Maybe they're more ready than I thought. Essentially, this demo starts out, as most demos do, partway through the fucking game. And I kind of think the demo sort of struggles because of it. But we start out and we're playing as a character named Jack, and we've got his two dumbass buddies, Jed, and whatever the fucking other guy's name is. and
your guess is as good as mine at this point, unfortunately.
Our objective is to fucking fight chaos, right? So apparently your main guy's name is Jack Garland. That was like foolishly leaked from what I've read. So he's got some kind of connection to obviously Garland.
Wait, the main guy is Jack Garland?
That's your character's name.
That's really confusing.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to kill Chaos. I thought the guy we fought was Garland.
Yeah, Garland becomes Chaos in 1, is what I understood.
Right, he does. But how is Jack Garland going to fight Garland?
Maybe it's Garland Jack, it's like...
I don't fucking know. Obviously, we don't know. We didn't pay attention. There we go.
You ever notice how, like, sometimes you'll find people, if there's, like, any sort of list of human beings... so like the schedule at my work, it'll be like, sometimes it'll be their last name, comma, their first name. But then sometimes these dumbasses will put in like first name, comma, last name. And I'm like,
I've never seen that.
Do you not know how this works? I'm like, why not just put everyone's full name if you're going to fucking mess around with the commas? Like clearly someone doesn't understand what's going on here. And so it's like, I think that's what happened here. Like Garland's name is Garland Jack, but like somebody accidentally like put Jack Garland in, and that's your main guy's name. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the fact that his name's Garland as well. But that's what we got. So him and his dumbass buddies.
Yeah, Jack
Ash.
Garland, main protagonist of Stranger of Paradise.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like I wonder if maybe he's, because you know how Garland basically gets stuck in like a time loop.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's like Garland and he wants to kill Chaos, which is him, so that he could stop the time loop or something. But that doesn't make any sense because that's kind of what you do in the game.
It is. Look, on the fucking Final Fantasy wiki, it has Jack Garland as the main character, go down Garland.
Yeah.
Which is a separate character, a knight that journeyed to the Chaos Shrine prior to the party with the same goals that now claims to have become Chaos. Now, in this reimagining of FF1, are they going to make your main character obviously a warrior? Okay. They're just part of the loop. Is it a loop of hell? They never stop chaos?
They might.
I don't know what's going on.
I think you are going to be Garland, though. I mean, I know you are Garland because you're Jack Garland, but like it. I think you're going to be actually him, just at a different time. You know.
Okay.
I don't like time plots because they're kind of confusing. I mean, you think it makes sense for half a second, and then you think about it a little bit, and then it no longer makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, why does that have to matter? Why can't you just enjoy the experience as you receive it?
I don't know. I just can't do it, man. When you set up, I mean, if it's fine, I'm willing to suspend disbelief from anything. But like when it's a world where they've given me what to believe in, and then they break the rules, that's when I get kind of pissy. It's like this, and then Interstellar. I get a little like pissed off. It's not that I care about the science of the actual shit. I don't, and I don't know how it works even in my head. It's like, how the fuck is a planet have such? It doesn't make sense that you going down to a planet with like everyone up there. It takes for fucking ever, but for you it's normal speed. That I can't.
Telling me you don't understand relativity.
I guess, yeah. It just doesn't
what
make
are you,
sense.
A little bitch?
And then, yeah. And then, like, at the end of the thing about that movie that bugs me is the absolute end where they're like, we're going to go get her. We're going to go save her. She's stuck out there. And I'm like, well, you just talked about relativity. She's going to be dead by the time you get there, or you're going to be dead way before you get to her.
Yeah, I don't know which one of them. I don't know which one of them will
happen, yeah.
Will age.
But I know it's going to be
Someone
one
knows.
of you. It's going to be one of you, and this movie just cheated.
Probably.
Otherwise, a masterpiece.
I'm guessing Anne Hathaway is at least 10 years younger than Matthew McConaughey.
Maybe they'll meet up, yeah, when they'll be the same age.
They'll pull a Benjamin Button and meet in the middle.
There you go, yeah.
That's
so
how that works, right?
I think so. That's how it works for like sex appeal. That's my claim to one day be able to get Scarlett Johansson. Is like as she declines rapidly with age. There'll be like a fucking a singularity point where like we're appealing levels to each other, and it can happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
You don't think so?
I don't think that's going to happen. Something tells me that's not really in the cards.
Look, she's in an open. She's open for that.
She's open for that.
I gotta find a way to like, you know.
Is she though?
Oh, maybe not me, but she is one of those kind of people.
One of those kind of people?
Yeah, she's like open to, you know. She's an open relationship kind of gal.
She's in an open relationship? Really?
I don't know if she is, but she has stated that
her
before.
husband is the guy. He's one of the hosts of Saturday Night Live. One of the news guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like one of the main writers at Saturday Night Live.
Is he funny?
Yeah, he's funny. He's
funny. I know Saturday Night Live used to be a lot funnier than it is.
I feel like it's funnier now than it was when we were kids. Honestly.
Oh, you think so?
Like the Tina Fey days. She was great, but like those were rough Saturday Night Live days in terms of the comedy. I don't know, in my opinion. There was always something, like usually every Saturday Night Live only has like 2 good sketches. And we just remember back upon fond old days, but they're just like the old sketches that are good.
Yeah.
I do miss the Andy Samberg shorts, like the digital shorts they used to do. Those were great. But yeah, speaking of Saturday Night Live,
yeah, Jack Garland. So you get into the demo, and the first level is the Temple of Chaos, which kind of brings back some memories. You know, you got the soundtrack going in the background. It's like kind of a more modernized version of the theme.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like the Temple of Chaos at all.
Yeah.
From what I remember,
it really doesn't.
It looks like kind of, I don't know, like Western fantasy castle kind of situation to me. I don't know about you, but
yeah, it didn't really stand out or anything like that. But you're basically just fighting through the different zones, and this thing's kind of set up. This is what I came up with last night, my like journalistic zinger. It's like they tried to make Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, but they wanted to make sure it didn't get Game of the Year. So that's what they did here. It's not bad. It's very similar in a lot of ways. It's set up like a Dark Souls or Elden Seki Soulsborne, as I call it, series where you've got a big area that you can go explore. There's treasure hiding and shit. There's like shortcuts you can make to get around the map faster. Oftentimes making you go back to a previous save point just to fuck with you. And then you sit down at the little save spots and it resets all the enemies in the area so you can go back and fight them if you need to grind experience or whatever you need in this game. There's blocking, there's parrying, and then there's also like rage parrying is what I call it. I don't remember what it is. It's like where you press square or circle and you kind of like block them.
If they're doing like a big attack with the purple.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
It's any attack, though, I found out. I can do it to everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The timing we just didn't figure out, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of similar to Sekiro's. They have it's like a posture system is what they call it. And while you're sword fighting, there are certain times where you need to parry their attacks. And if you parry it with the right timing, it'll like throw off their sword arm, basically, because they're like hacking at you and it'll cause them to be imbalanced, and that's when you can go in for a strike. And in Sekiro, it has kind of the same little thing. There's the health bar, and then there's the like stagger bar, basically. And when you fuck up their groove, when you throw off their groove too much, then you can go in for the assassination, which is kind of what's happening in this one. The thing about this one that's brutal, though, is their fucking groove bar is like 1,000,000 miles long. It's like Garland. You got to get that thing all the fucking way down to the very bottom before you could do it. And then by then you've already like hacked away at him enough to kill him. So it's kind of playing around with that, but it also has like 9 different ways to dodge attacks. There's the dodge roll. There's the square, suck up the attack's energy and then launch it back at him. And then there's the actual parry. And the parry apparently increases your stance bar, or whatever the fuck they call it in this thing. And then the other move that I don't know what they call, it's also like a block. The break gauge, it'll deplete his break gauge. And so that's kind of like wearing down on his stamina bar.
So when we played this for 4 hours 2 weeks ago, we did not exploit the full battle system.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But when I did, I still got my ass kicked by Garland for like a good 30 minutes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we played this. The only Seki Soulsborne game that I've ever played is Bloodborne. Famous fights about that game on Nude Clan for some reason, because everybody fucking blows that game for I don't know why in God's name, but anyway, it's just mostly to me just like a really frustrating game with no story unless you want to go into the item menu like a fucking nerd. And I guess it's a little creepy. And then there's like areas in that game where I can't see a fucking thing in Bloodborne. I have no idea why people love that game as much as they do. I gave it like a mediocre score on Nude Clan. And everybody's shitting on me ever since. But Bloodborne is, it's okay. And I think it could have been more fun of a game, frankly, if they had made a few changes to it. This game, I guess, plays in a similarly frustrating way, although not nearly as hard as Bloodborne was. Of course, we played it on what did we play on? An action mode? There's like 4 different difficulties.
Yeah.
So you can play it on story mode, which is the easiest difficulty, but an even easier... they have another step in story mode that's even easier, I think. So I guess we played the second of the hardest.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's just really like what it is an action game where you can't interrupt your moves. I think that's really the only thing that separates those games from like any other action game ever. Like those other fast-paced ones, you know. People will bring up God of War. I've never played the other God of War games outside of 4. And I know it plays differently, but yeah, that's an action game. Yep. And that's just kind of like quick, and you can interrupt your moves most of the time. And same with like, I think the action games I played, I don't play that many action games, so I don't have that much to pull from, but I would say it's like As a kid, I used to play those Lord of the Rings games, and those were action games. Again, like different move sets and all that. Everything, though, was basically based upon the button you were pressing, though. And so, and it was reactive to you, and therefore you could interrupt a move. If you were like mid-strike or something like that, you can like suddenly press the block and your guy will like animate to block. The difference between those games and this is just simply like you press that attack button, the entire swing will have to finish before you can do anything else.
Yeah.
So it's really based upon... That's what makes those games, or at least Bloodborne, my one reference, that's what makes that game so much more difficult, is because you have to be really, it's all about precision in the moment instead of reacting quickly. You kind of have to, I don't know, there's a different type of fluidity about it that it's forcing you into. And this has that. You can't interrupt your own moves. So there's that. And frankly, it's pretty hard.
Yeah, it is.
For a Final Fantasy title. It's like a pretty freaking difficult thing to go through this demo.
Yeah, so there are ways to deal with each enemy you come across. It's kind of similar to Final Fantasy X in that way, where you get like a flying creature and you want to take him down with like a pole arm.
Yeah.
You want to be the Lancer. There's quite a few jobs, actually. I started unlocking more jobs as I played. They kind of branch off into this big job tree, and you can unlock more jobs to play around with, different equipment setups, different abilities that you can learn. And they also have their different like level up tree, which is pretty similar to the 15 one, where you just got little stat boost increases and moves. And
it's one of those stat trees that it might as well just have the game do it itself. At least in the demo version.
Yeah.
It's not like Final Fantasy X or 12 where it's really branching off and you can really customize your characters as you're going along. It's really like, you got like 3 branches and they dead end and then you'll meet up eventually, right? I think those are kind of silly. I think they're time waster things that they put in these games. They have been putting in these games recently. Like, you might as well just give me the stat boost automatically.
That's true. Why don't you just say level up, now you've got this ability.
Yeah, or split the difference on whatever those abilities would be, you know?
Yeah. What the fuck? You're making us do it for him. It's bullshit.
It's almost automatic, yeah. 15 was the same way. It was just kind of like a little dumb little thing.
At 15, you got like 30 ways to increase your character. You can fucking eat some flan. You can go fucking
there's that too.
Level up. You can also use your equipment and then...
And also 15 was ridiculously easy.
Yeah, so there's almost no point.
And this game is...
fucking hard.
Pretty hard. So I'm not really looking forward to March 22nd. Is that right?
Yeah, I think something like that.
When this game comes out on PS5, which we did play this both on the PS5.
Yes.
Not to humble brag anymore than we did last time with the Yuffie thing, but yeah.
March 18th.
March 18th, 2022 is when this game's coming out. So could you tell me what you love about those Seki Soulsborne games?
I really do like the way the games play. I mean, I think the combat is really good. Bloodborne's is really good. It's like extra tight compared to the other ones, except for Sekiro. Sekiro is way tighter. The thing I like about Sekiro is it really does kind of feel like what I imagine a sword fight, like a duel, would feel like, because you're fighting another person and you're just waiting for openings to strike. And then you're parrying their moves until basically someone fucks up, and then you get to, kill them. So that's what I love about that one. I just like the way they're set up. I like a big area that you can explore. There's a lot of stuff to like investigate and check out, and then there's a boss at the end. And so it's like, okay, you can grind, you can kill a bunch of dudes until you get to a level where you're comfortable fighting the boss, and then you just rush to the boss. And then you move on to the new zone. I think they've got a great mix of exploration, painstaking difficulty, and honestly, I think it is really satisfying when I finally beat a boss that's been like trashing me. It's weird. They're so difficult, and I used to make fun of them all the time before I started playing them, and now I'm fucking in, man. And I've only got one left, and I think I have 2 bosses left in the Demon Souls remake, and then I'm done with all of them.
All Demon Souls, all Dark Souls, and and Bloodborne and Sekiro.
Yep, Elden Soulsborne.
Elden, what's Elden?
That's the Elden Ring it's a sequel coming out.
Oh, okay.
In March.
Oh, the George R. R. Martin connected one.
Yeah, he wrote the scenario for.
Did he play Bloodborne or think? I don't think he would play Bloodborne, right?
No.
Dude, if he's fucking playing video games, someone needs to kick his ass.
Yeah.
No. What if he just know that they don't put a story? They put a story in the items. What are you fucking stupid?
Yeah, that's not how you get a Hugo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No. That's interesting. That's a real interesting situation. It's funny that that's coming out before any new Game of Thrones books, right?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's funny that the entire TV show has come out since any new Game of Thrones books, except for Fire and Blood, which someone told me that the other day, and I was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck, okay? I liked it, and I read it, and I'll probably read it again for the show coming out. But that doesn't count. Yeah, I'm not here for the fucking Targaryens, okay? Like, I'm here for the whole package. Not the incest tards that fucking started it all. Dude, they look so fucking like...
They look like actors. They hired them all to be blonde.
They did. The main guy is a weird-looking guy. He's that Doctor Who dude. I think he's the current...
Oh, with the new show.
Yeah.
No, the current Doctor Who's a woman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe it was the last guy. He's a fucking weird-looking guy.
The Barty Crouch guy from Harry Potter? That guy?
I think so.
I don't fucking know Doctor Who.
I don't either. I just know he was in Doctor Who, and I think he was one of the doctors. They change it all the time, but...
I watched one episode of Doctor Who once, and I'm like... This is kind of like shitty TV. I don't know. This is like one of those throwaway Buffy episodes that's not very good.
Yeah.
And you're just like, And apparently what I had watched was like one of the most intense, like, fan favorite episodes. And I just like... I guess I came in at the wrong time.
Yeah, you pulled a Cameron. Stupid.
No, I didn't do that. I gave it some time, but I just I don't get it. I don't get the special effects are dumb. It's just cheap sci-fi television. That's what it looked like to me. And I guess you just have to know the characters and have been with them for a long time to appreciate it. But
yeah, I mean, we're not talking like Stargate here, where it's like, whoa, what the fuck's going on? It's kind of like weird, nerdy shit.
Nah.
And I've never watched it either. Not really. I've seen the fact that it's huge and there's a lot of seasons, and all I know is there's a fucking phone booth.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And I don't really like TV though, so I think that might be a problem.
I don't watch that much TV either. Like, it took I don't know how many years before I watched The Sopranos.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many years more till I watched Breaking Bad.
Exactly.
It's like, and I gave The Wire the first season of The Wire is great. I haven't watched the rest of it, even though it was great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just not a TV guy.
That's what happened with.
I'd rather watch movies. I got 007 I got to go to tonight. So.
Yeah. That's what happened with me in Westworld. Like, I thought season 1 was like fucking great, and then they made season 2, and I watched like one episode and I stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It's just a huge commitment. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be like one of the greatest shows ever made, and then maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, maybe like I have to hear the word of mouth 10 years after it's over.
Yeah,
still going.
Yeah.
Then I'll watch it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just not worth my time. Like shit, like Burn Notice. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that.
I've watched the first 3 seasons of Burn Notice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that in high school, I feel like I had more time for TV.
Yeah,
that's when that came out.
I just don't like that guy's voice.
When you're a spy.
Yeah, it's so boring.
I do love Bruce Campbell though. He's great in that show.
Yeah, that's true.
And I like that actor. I like the main actor too. I liked that show. I just kind of was like, okay, these are all the same now, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And I think the difference is that like Sopranos and The Wire all have like these big, huge, overarching stories, and that's like the main story on the seasons. It's not like they have these episodic things where they do the same thing every week.
Yeah.
That are there are variations on it, but that's basically like the show.
Yeah, it's almost like everything's a sitcom.
Yeah.
Like, unless it's an HBO fucking show.
Which is how TV was kind of made to be. It's like, well, if you missed last week, you didn't need to miss it. You know? You get the same characters, and maybe throughout a big season, there's an arc that you can pay attention to. And maybe like the finale will, for the last couple episodes in a season, will be towards that thing, but otherwise it's all these like little adventures on the way.
And see, to me, all that sounds like is a big waste of time. I know that's dick, but like,
you're not. Yeah, I do generally agree. Although TV is going more in the Sopranos direction now because everybody's streaming stuff. So
yeah,
they are starting to do that, and they have been for a while. And I just never got caught up in it.
Yeah,
never got caught up in the new world of television because I don't know. I obviously watch a lot of movies, and I could replace my movie time with TV time, but I have no interest in doing that. So, whatever.
Yeah. Except for Netflix. Netflix creates mostly garbage, I feel.
You think so?
Yeah, like I watched like 3 episodes of the new Sabrina thing, and dude...
You didn't think that was going to be garbage before you clicked on it?
I had a pretty good feeling, and then Alex was watching it, and I was like, what the fuck? It's like this edgelord Sabrina where the cat doesn't even talk, and I'm like, dude, without the cat, what the fuck is the show?
That's
like
the only reason to watch it.
I know. I was like, the cat's the only thing, and he doesn't speak.
That's funny.
Like, fuck this show.
Yeah, fuck this show. The cat doesn't talk.
It's all angsty Sabrina. Yeah.
I just want to hear that out of context. Someone be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I want my fucking talking cat
Where's
back.
my talking cat? There's a cat in this fucking show. It needs to talk, or else I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, and it's like extra serious, and like the stakes are a lot higher. It's not like a just kind of comedy show anymore at all. It's just like completely 180.
Not that I watched that show that much as a kid.
I didn't either, but I really did like, what is his name? Salem? Yeah. Fucking loved the cat. He was hilarious. But now the cat just fucking doesn't speak, and he's there. And I'm like, why even have a cat? If you're not going to have a talking cat, get rid of the cat.
What were we talking about in the game?
I don't know, man.
Oh, we were talking about Seki Soul's Born Blood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like those, because they have talking cats. There is actually a talking cat in Dark Souls, too. So.
Oh, okay.
Gotta have it.
I don't know. I didn't love Bloodborne, obviously, and all y'all said it was the best one, and that kind of makes me not give a shit about playing the other ones, obviously.
It was the best one.
What is it, Sekiro now?
Oh, yeah.
That's the best one?
It actually has a story, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's not in the item menu, and then you get shit on from podcast listeners who are like, it does have a great story.
See, I won't
It's like,
even
motherfucker, that's not how you tell a story. You don't tell a story in fucking item fucking menus you don't even look at.
Yeah, see, I love Bloodborne, and I won't go that far. I won't say that it's got a great story.
And, like, there's a difference, strong difference. We've talked about this on this show. There's a difference between lore and story.
Yeah.
Story is the yarn that you tell. That's like the whole, that's the whole thing. That's the whole encompassing thing and the way that it's told. Like some character's journey or a situation or something like that. And as it goes from beginning to end in this, hopefully a good flow that pulls you along emotionally in some sort of way where you're anticipating like what's going to happen next up until you get a surprising yet satisfying conclusion. Am I going to get that from the fucking items? The item descriptions? Is that what you're suggesting? Or am I just going to learn more about the world through the items?
Yeah.
Because that's not fucking story.
Which to me, learning more about the world is interesting when I'm really into the world. But if I'm not into the world, I don't care.
If I'm not into the story, I don't care about the world.
Yeah, that's true. So,
like, I don't give a fucking shit about the world if the story isn't making me so interested in what's happening that I also want to know the other, like, little things on the side.
Yeah, and that's why we don't have a million different, like, fantasy podcasts on the network, because there's a lot of fantasy series that have a bunch of stuff in it, and it's like, it's not as good. So there's a select few that have, like, enough that make you want to dig into the lore, and Bloodborne is not that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and I feel like there's some nerds out there who like forget that the reason that they're they like it at all is because the story's actually pulling them along. Like, why the fuck would you read the entire Harry Potter series if all you cared about were, like, the world? Like, you wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It would just be, like, the superficial stuff. And I guess those people might exist, but... And maybe they just dress up as things or as superheroes or whatever. Like, they just care about, like, the superficial, almost fashion-y side of whatever it is that they're into. But I mean, if you didn't give a shit about the main story in FF7, you wouldn't be interested in, like, what happened to Vincent before the game started.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
So, I don't know.
I agree. That is the big shortcoming for those.
At least with Bloodborne. That's the only one I can really say.
The others kind of have... It's like a little... Like with Demon Souls, it's just like... There's some weird fucking mist that's taken over the world, and it's... People are becoming infected by something, and you need to kill them to, like, vanquish the world. It's a real basic story.
Yeah.
Which is easy. I mean, it's the first one they made, and it's like... You don't need much more than that. Just, okay, here's the world that's fucked up. Go kill this some stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not arguing that they should have a story in Bloodborne, but I'm not going to give Bloodborne good story points.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have either. I wouldn't have either. So I agree. And this one's going to have a story, though.
This one is going to have a story. I mean, it does have some very interesting main characters so far. You have your Jack Garland. You have your Prompto version 2. You have your Black Gladiolus version 2, I would say. And then you have, like, some chick as well who's, like, very headstrong and all that. I will say that the characters mostly seem like they're trying to take the good characterization from FF15 and force it into this game. Doesn't really feel great so far.
Yeah.
Main character is real, like, moody. And he's all about, he of course has, like, the really deep, gruff, tough voice, you know, that we see in some of these games. Like, I'm here to kill chaos. And, like, every cutscene in the demo, he's going over and over again, I'm here to kill chaos. I'm not worried about that. Chaos is what's on my mind.
Yeah.
And then you have your, like, sidekicks, the one with the pink hair, he's Prompto version 2, way more annoying than Prompto in 15.
Yeah, he also sounds like he's drunk half the time.
Yeah, let's go get him.
Yeah, you gonna make us come in there and get ya? Like, put down the martinis. We're here to kill chaos, not get fucking drunk. Idiot.
And then the other guy is like the bland, supportive character. He's like a really bland, I would say, yeah, he's Black Gladiolus, but way more bland. It's like, yeah okay.
Yeah, I honestly...
Get him. Get him, Jack.
I can't see these guys hanging out with the Prompto kid, honestly. Like Jack,
oh, yeah, the two serious guys?
Yeah, like Jack. I can't see Jack having any time at all for that guy.
I don't know. Gosh, I can't remember.
What is your bench? I don't know. What are you going to make me get down there and max out?
Oh, what is the name of the third? I guess I can't remember the Prompto guy either. I can't remember the name of the third guy.
One of them was Jed. Ash and Jed. No clue which one's which.
Okay, it's the two sidekicks that are relatively reminiscent of a recent hit Final Fantasy title in their personality, although without any of the character depth.
No fixins, yeah.
Yeah, so it's mostly just like it's really superficial, and maybe we'll get to know him and love him in the real game when it comes out. But in the scope of the demo, of course, I felt like those characters, like the four guys in the Disque demo, were, of course, that was like really part of the game. But you know, you felt like you were getting to know some characters, and they weren't like horrifically annoying.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this game's going to be set up much more for those two characters being your buddies playing with you during the game. And I don't even know if I want to play this game unless I have like a party of 3 people, because that made it way better.
Okay, yes. Let's talk about the multiplayer then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. What do you do?
Well, I don't know, but you go. So you go up to one of the saves, and then you kind of like move your PlayStation camera out of the way because it's going to be covering up something important, no matter where you put it. You can put it in the middle of the screen, but then of course it's covering up your game, so you can't really put it there.
Oddly specific.
Yeah. Put it in the top left corner. You might say you cover up like important details on tabs to find multiplayer.
So you're saying it might be kind of difficult for someone who's streaming this game to figure out where the fuck to get the multiplayer running.
Yeah.
Possibly. The multiplayer system in the demo is real fuckery, I would say, and I hope that they fix the process before the game actually starts, because right now you have to like go to one of the save point reset spots, and you have to like start a room there, and then other people in other parts of the world, mostly Skull Hottie and Dr. Roxo, have to then figure out how to join that room that you've set up for them, which I believe you do from the main menu of the game in order to jump into someone else's game. But you can just like straight up do the campaign, or at least in this demo, you can do the campaign of the entire game. And I think you might be right. I think those characters might just be kind of like empty space characters open for other people to play in their stead, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I really dig the idea of playing this thing. I liked playing it in multiplayer with those guys when we played the demo a couple weeks ago, and I think it will be any opportunity for the Final Fantasy games to go multiplayer, I am happy with. I've never once been like, oh god, I wish this was only single player. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15 should have been opened up for like a true multiplayer experience because you had all those guys, you know, and they were all playing their parts, and it was an action game. It's not turn based, even though I know that there is multiplayer in the old turn based games, but we could never figure out how to do it. But in some of them, not in all.
It's just during battles, you just take over half of the characters.
Yeah. So the menu and like the getting into the multiplayer, that needs some work before the final game.
Yeah,
sure.
It's reminiscent of the save replay thing in Dissidia. It's just like not quite sure how it works. I just know it's there and it's always in the way.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun though, playing with other people for sure. And I agree with you. I mean, like, can you imagine playing? I mean, I guess Jake played Explorers by himself, but can you imagine playing Final Fantasy Explorers alone? I guess with the pets, it gets pretty OP.
Well, the thing is, why the fuck have a pet game and a multiplayer game, and it's like a replacement thing? What is that?
I don't know.
God, fucking go back to the Explorers episode. That's one of the worst Final Fantasy games of all time.
It's pretty low, yeah.
It's pretty low on the list. I always forget about it for some reason. When we're bitching about Final Fantasy games, we're always like going straight to Dirge or Crystal Bearers.
Yeah, it's that low. It's not even low-hanging fruit. It's the fruit on the floor that's rotting.
I guess it's the fact that we beat it in like 2 days that it's like, and it's not one of the main games. You know, Dissidia's, or not Dissidia, but Dirge of Cerberus is one of the 7 sequels, so it stays in our mind more.
Yeah.
Explorers, that's not a good one.
Explorers didn't betray anything either.
Yeah, it was just kind of like a concept they didn't follow through with, and it was just
Dirge and like Crisis Core are betrayals to some level of Final Fantasy VII, which is beloved, whereas fucking Explorers ain't betraying nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably also part of it. We beat it in like 2 sittings, which was awesome.
2 long sittings on that
2 very long sittings, yeah. But that was a good time. And it was a good time because we were able to play together. It was fun.
No, playing together was the good time. I don't think that game was very good, but
no, I remember very little about it.
No, it's a really overly simple kind of. It looks like FF11 almost. It's overly simple.
Yeah,
small areas and just a couple enemies and kind of, I don't know. It was a boring game, and it was like where you go to the town over and over again, kind of thing, and then go to the areas.
Yeah, and this kind of feels almost menu-y right now, sort of kind of like that though, because the way you select your missions, it's from like a fucking like map.
Type 0, that's that reminds me of a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't like being reminded of Type 0 either. Speaking of bad Final Fantasy games. That's another one I like.
It's better than Explorers, I think.
Yeah, the longer I go though, the more I'm like miffed about Type 0 because like it was the
$100 you spent on the game, and
yeah,
then the $400 for the PS4 at the time.
Yeah, Glad I didn't play it. I might have been so pissed at my PS4 that I just like never played it again.
Never played it again. Yeah.
Maybe that would have been good for me. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, your whole life would be different. You'd be living in a mansion or something.
Yeah. Turns out I can work 100 hours a week if I don't play video games. It's crazy.
No. No. I mean, this demo was, I guess, interesting. It was like the characters are kind of dumb and they're beaten on the head and they're going obviously to go fight Garland 2.
Femgar.
Femgar. Wow.
You beat him up and he turns into a chick.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Yeah, you remember that? It's just like a girl.
No, there's a chick there with you guys.
Yeah, you like beat down Garland and then like it was like a chick that was like not Garland. I don't know. It was weird, man.
I don't even remember what you're talking about right now. Here we go again with my memory loss on this thing. One of us is wrong.
Yeah.
No, I didn't pay that much attention to the story because there wasn't that much there. It was mostly like, this is really gameplay heavy, which is for some people will be a good thing and some people not.
Yeah, I think it is a good thing. And I think the stupidity of the story as it sits now is probably largely due to the fact that we're just being chucked into random missions in the game and just going to town.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give the story too much shit and the characters too much shit right now. I will say I think the voice acting is kind of bad. And the characters are they seem shitty to me, but again, those two might be placeholders and I hope to God that's what they are for us. So I hope we get to play this together with somebody else.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of chucked in there. I don't know how far into the game this is. I can't imagine it's in the beginning. You know? Yeah,
I mean, they're talking about them. We are the warriors of light, as foretold by the prophecy. I remember that part now.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah.
to announce your own prophetic existence. Importance. Yeah, I don't know. In the gameplay, I thought was actually it is not intuitive.
No.
It took a while to get used to what I could get used to, and we didn't even exploit it where it was supposed to be. There's a whole bunch of like things about the game, little details about the gameplay that totally skipped over in the 4 hours that we played this.
Yeah.
I never figured out the parry, really. Which similar theme to the last Final Fantasy demo we played with Disgaea.
Yeah.
Like the parry, they fixed it for the actual game. But the parry was kind of a nightmare in Disgaea. And in this one, I'm just not sure what the timing is. I parried a couple times, like one of the types of parrying.
Yeah.
There's like a block, there's a parry, and then you're saying there's another type of parry? Like that's...
Yeah, so the if you time the block right, you'll parry. And then there's also the parry where you like absorb the energy and you can launch it back. So like if an enemy's doing a move.
That's what I mean by the... Okay. So
that's a different thing. That's a soul something.
Okay. See, to me, it was like, man, they could really simplify the interface here by making that the same button.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
And just like whatever attack the enemy's doing changes, what happens to your character
that's
next.
What,
like,
I mean, yeah.
Would that be the worst thing in the world?
No, that's what Sekiro does. There's like certain things that you have to do based on certain attack types to parry.
No, I'm not into that. Not into that at all.
It's awesome. The final boss, dude. Oh, man, it was a work of art killing that guy. I fucking was not even touched the last time. I was just fucking shutting his ass down.
Do you remember the fucking... Was it an email we got? I don't remember where it was.
I do.
Where someone was like, oh, I can't believe what you said about Bloodborne because Bloodborne, it really helped fix my life. It turned my life around because I learned through this video game how to handle problems. It's like problem solving.
And you're just over there doing the same thing 9, 10, 11 times in a row, like, fuck!
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, that doesn't... What does that do? I don't understand. Does it affect your life in a positive way outside of just, like, you feeling good because you beat a video game?
Not, I wouldn't say that. No, I would say that it feels good because it is.
I got my taxes done on time this year because, well, I learned how to solve problems through Bloodborne.
Yeah, I learned that the tax code is pretty public. You just do it yourself. God. Yeah, I don't know. I think there is a level of satisfaction.
I learned to go to the gym every day, and because of what Bloodborne taught me.
I mean, I get
I want to throw up thinking of that.
It's satisfying to do something that's hard, and I think that's what he's really getting at.
I get that.
And you get that even probably with the game because it feels good when you're like, oh, finally, I don't have to do that again.
I get that. I also get that from my own real life. I don't, like, the video game didn't need to teach me that. The video game is the break.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You're like, why take I don't know. It's like the whole argument for, like, not infusing sports and stuff with, like, political shit. It's like, this is supposed to be a break from existence. You want to, like, just watch the people fight, and then that's it. And when it gets too overblown by something else, then it's no longer fun.
Take me away so I don't have to think about whatever project I'm working on for a second.
It's not, but if you're taken away to the same hell, I mean, what's the point?
Just like,
it's like fucking. I don't want that because that's every day.
It's actually adding like it's pumping cortisol into my veins.
Exactly.
It's aging me and stressing me out playing this game.
Yeah, I mean that does that to me too, but. I think it's satisfying to like get the timing and like master something like that. But it's weird because
we'll have no choice because we have to play this game for the show. Like I'll have no choice but to play another fucking Bloodborne-esque game at that level. So
yeah, I wonder like try to force Elden Ring on Nude, but maybe not.
There's no, not right now. When is that game coming out?
I think it's coming out in like February or March, actually. So it's going to be a rough month for me. Fucking hardcore shit coming out. I don't know. I kind of see where he's coming from when he was talking about that because like it is satisfying to do something that's hard. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. There's other hard stuff that you could do. Like learn how to play an instrument or, learn another language.
I guess I learned how to play an instrument as a teenager and I understood the value of
Bloodborne?
of getting whatever this guy had to get out of Bloodborne when he was in his fucking 40s, or I don't know how the fuck old he is when he's sending us that email, but it's just silly to me.
I learned how to parry my music teacher and visceral attack him afterwards. And that's when I moved to first seat clarinet.
God, kill me. I don't even know like what sad existence that email came out.
Yeah, and it's weird because I'm like, I play a shitload of games, but like I don't have to. You know what I mean? Like I play a lot, but when I go 4, 5, 6 days without playing, I don't feel bad. I'm not angry.
Yeah, I gotta say, like video games to me are like at this point, an occasional game will come out that I want to play like really bad.
Yeah.
And I think this is the way with most people for most media things. Right? Like just the average person, like some really big movie comes out that everybody wants to see, they go see that thing, or like a big book or something, everybody feels like they need to read it. And it moves through the culture, you're really interested in a certain thing, and then, that's your one video game you play that year. That's kind of that thing. That's where I would be naturally without a bunch of video game podcasts, I think.
Yeah, I think what fucks me up is I have those that I want to play that I'm like gonna play, like the Demon's Souls remake, because I got a PS5 and that's like one of the things I wanted it for. But then I also got all the other things that I have to do for the shows, so it's like it almost seems like I'm like some kind of gaming addict. But I'm like, no, I just want to play something for me every once in a while, and I also got all this other stuff that I'm playing like kind of for me, but also for the show.
And instead of that, I don't know if we would have kept playing League of Legends or something if we never came up with the shows.
Yeah, we might have.
We probably would have just been fucking around on the weekends doing like big parties or something like that, which we do in addition, but it's like, yeah, it's just different.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah,
it's a different way of consuming things.
It's like addictive addict levels of gameplay, but non-addiction.
But I could totally leave a game alone for. I have. I mean, we usually what happens is like at least one of the weeks where I should be playing the Final Fantasy game, I didn't play any video games that week.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to play like a lot of it for 2 weeks in a row, which is going to happen these next 2 weeks when we're playing Secret of Evermore as well. We got 2 weeks to beat Secret of Evermore. That was our goal.
Yeah, we need to get ready for that 14.
Yeah.
Because the way the 14 might be set up, we really got to have time, I think. So.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah, maybe I'll schedule a day off and we could do our 14 hours of 14 again.
Once a month.
Yeah, beat it in a year.
14 hours of 14. We might have to do it that way too, because I don't know if my internet will handle playing 14. It doesn't handle OTST. It handles Halo 3 multiplayer fine.
I wonder.
ODST, Halo 3, like it can't be that much more taxing on the system.
Well, I wonder if the fact that Square Enix has their own servers might help.
It might. I'd have to try it, and I haven't tried it yet.
Because with Halo, you're just connecting to me or whoever's the host.
Yeah.
Whereas with Final Fantasy, plus it doesn't need to be that intensive because really all it's going to be is we're going to play just like we always have, play single player, campaign, boring ass 14, by yourself, all alone in this MMO.
So you weren't blown away by the last expansion?
I think the last expansion's great.
It's good.
That's what everyone there's some people in the Discord getting pissed at us like, oh, you guys didn't. I heard after your review, I'm amazed it's as good as it is. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Brulo, I think.
I was like, it's the best one they've ever done.
Yeah, I think we ranked it like the highest.
Yeah, it's like it's easily the best.
Highest,
it's just 14 is all.
It's just that every cutscene has a greetings and goodbye section.
Yeah,
which I can really live without.
Yeah, and you can have a higher quality version of that, which is what we got.
I think it probably didn't bug me that much the first time around because it was the first time around, like with the first Realm Reborn cutscenes, right? Because I don't remember having that complaint before. I'm sure they're there, though. But the more that they don't fix that problem with their cutscenes, and it's just they're just padding out time. And the thing is, I'll get more negative about what is probably a better story every single expansion because I have to be bulldozed or fucking punched in the face over and over again. And you know what? It starts to have its own psychological damage, not just physical damage after a while. And I get really annoyed by the fact that every time they're like, greetings and salutations, welcome to the blah, blah, blah. Now let's get to it. And then they actually have like the meaty part of the cutscene where shit is happening. And then they go, we will talk anon. Happens. And I say that like that line only happened once and I'm making a big deal out of it. But it actually, really, they say, we will see you anon or some similar line almost every single cutscene in that game. They have to say goodbye to each other.
Yeah. So, like, it's not a criticism of the overarching story, because the overarching story in the last expansion, I think, was fucking sweet. It's just there's a lot of shit in the middle that I really don't think is sweet at all. And it's like, yeah, it's a little bit of world building, but it's also a little bit of fetch quest, a little bit of jerk off here, jerk off there. And I'm like, look, that's not good storytelling. I'm sorry.
Nod your head.
Yeah, fucking Star Wars nod every 10 seconds. And like, it can have a good overall story, but it can have a lot of extra shit in there. I mean, that's my complaint about the Wheel of Time. It's got a really great overall story, but there are 4 books in there that could be 1 book, and it would be even better.
Yeah.
Because it is painfully slow.
You're not wrong. Book, what is it, book 5 through book 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be one pretty good, pretty fucking awesome book.
Yeah.
Pretty fast-paced book, but it's not. It's 5 books that are really not good.
Because usually each of those books has like 100 pages of gold. Not all of them. 9 and 10 were really horrible. But like 5, 6, and 7 all had like really good climactic battles that the entire book was slowly making its way to. And it's like, well, you could have just like sectioned those off in acts and had one really solid book.
Yeah.
Or like a shitload of stuff. That would probably be the best Wheel of Time book. Like everything happens in that middle book.
Yeah. And it's not, and it doesn't mean the series is bad.
No.
I mean, obviously the series isn't bad. I liked it. But it does mean that there's some shit in there that I really could do without. And there's a lot of that. And that's kind of how I feel about 14. So,
yeah.
Just so you guys know.
We're definitely in agreement on that.
Yeah.
So this game, Stranger of Paradise, you excited for it?
I don't know. I mean, I am a little bit. There's still like a part of my brain that just can't quite work out this game and 16 both existing at the same time. So there's like a weird, like I almost don't believe it. Like how could you have 2 Final Fantasies coming out?
Well, this one's definitely the spin-off title.
Yeah, for sure. It is. We kind of know more about this one than 16, though. And I think 16, they've been talking like it's almost done. That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It makes me, and we were talking about this on the stream, it makes me want to play Last Revenant, knowing that that's where they pulled the kind of main creative force from.
Yeah, same.
Which I've never played, and I wanted to play it back in the day. But
I always wanted to play, too. I just never had a 360. So I never did. It looked like Final Fantasy 12 again to me, and I was like, "Oh hell yeah, I'll play that."
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I'm looking forward to it. I do like having more Final Fantasy. The problem is I guess I get a little. It's funny because we bitch about they never release the games, but then when they start releasing too many, it's like, well, hell, hold on now. I remember the fucking middle ages of like Final Fantasy, and that is a dark time. Like when they were like, let's do a shit ton of mana games. Let's do
on the Wii. let's do
a bunch of Final Fantasy shovelware Wii titles, and then let's do a bunch of fucking Nintendo Final Fantasy games. It's like there's like a 8-year period where half of the podcast's content comes from, and that's a messy period. That's a nasty,
the worst games,
like dingy area of the show. And it's all these like projects that they're like, oh, let's do like World of Mana. And you're like, fuck, no, let's not. And it's like it's seriously like from 2003 to like 2008 is just a fucking mess. If it's not a mainline game, it's a mess.
Yeah.
And that's what I get. I worry about that happening again.
So we're saying the game's never coming out. Here's what it is. Here's what it actually is. I want a main series game about every 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't want it every 2 because they're going to start getting kind of shitty. And I don't want it every 10.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Every 3 years, I feel like in the modern AAA gaming timeline, that's not too much to ask for. A main series game that for them sells like 10 million copies, right?
Yeah.
And then in the 2 years in between, 1 spinoff, maybe 2 spinoffs in total in that time, I'd be happy with.
Yeah.
When they start going, when it's like that, the first year we did this podcast, it was like 6 Final Fantasy games came out in 2014. So there was like Lightning Returns and like Theater Rhythm and fucking, I know there was other ones because we had to do them for like best Final Fantasy release, right?
Yeah.
It's just too much. Like when it becomes too much, it's bad. I would rather be on the too little side of things. And it's not just because I have a podcast. I just feel like the quality kind of goes.
Yeah.
I feel like the quality of Final Fantasy as a whole right now is higher than it was in those years.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So,
and I mean, that's another, I don't know, to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier, that's another thing that I like about the From Software, the company that does Souls.
Mm.
They've made a lot of games, but like with the Souls series, it's only every few years, and they don't announce, they'll announce it, but there's like nothing that leaks. It's like tight as fuck.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever comes out, and then like when they want to come out, comes out when they want it to, and then they just release the game. Like it's gonna come out in March. Like,
there is and there is a subtle difference between that and like old Blizzard.
Yeah.
Which, took 9,000 years for Diablo 3 to ever happen.
Yeah.
There's an in between, and I really do think it's like a 3-year ahead of time schedule.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, and it's not us not wanting.
They used to do it like every year and a half with Final Fantasy games, but that was when development time was shorter too.
Yeah, less tech, less stuff. I mean, and it's like Joe said, it's not to not do more episodes. I love having content to do. It just feels like it's cheapened.
Yeah.
In a way, it's like the value of it is less because you've got all this nonsense to.
Which, I mean, yeah, 2 major Final Fantasy games, but I mean, one really is the major and the other one is this game, which honestly, like, look like that review that you read for the first demo. I don't know if that was for the first or the second demo. People aren't really that excited for this game. So I don't know if this will really make any sort of ripple. I thought the gameplay, once I got kind of used to it, was kind of cool. I didn't mind that. The really violent crystal kills, I thought was kind of a fun little aspect of it. Almost like you were saying when we were playing it, they're almost trying to be Doom.
Yeah.
Or the new Doom.
With the brutal attacks.
Yeah, with the brutal attacks. But I think that there was really only like one thing that really bothered me in this entire demo.
I want to kill chaos.
Come on, guys.
Jack, where are you going? I gotta go find a new chaos. This one's a woman.
All right.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy.
So what's hilarious is that, first off, I guess we have to set the scene for people who haven't played the game. When you get rid of like that version of Garland, who doesn't turn out to be like the right person, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember. There's like some sort of scene where you just have to like, this isn't what we wanted, basically. And then your main character turns around and he just presses a button on his phone and it starts playing nu metal on his fucking phone. And just cuz like no one makes any remark be like, hey man, why don't you put some fucking headphones on?
Yeah. Hey, Jack, you seem a little moody right now.
Sorry, well, I'm going to show you how moody I am by putting on this rap rock and being a little shit. Like, we laughed out loud on the stream. You can watch that on Twitch if you want. It was hilarious. Unintentionally hilarious.
Yeah.
That he just pulled out his fucking phone and just played a song on his shitty little speakers, and the game treated it as if it was this badass moment.
Yeah, but it's super lame.
Which is so funny.
Yeah.
So funny, so horrible. And it's like, oh my god, you're that fucking douchebag who turns on his music in the fucking train for everybody to hear and just has it through his like shitty little speakers and we all have to fucking hear it, or through the grocery store or something like that. Like, fuck that guy.
And he's looking around waiting for someone to look at him so that he can say, don't judge me.
Or I think what they're actually looking for is for someone to be like, yeah man, I really dig Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they're looking for, but it's just it was so awful. And I just had to be like, is that what cool guys do in Japan right now?
Is that why their birth rate's so low?
Moodily put on like fucking their music for everybody else to hear.
Yeah. I think the negative birth rate's starting to make sense now. You're not getting the pussy from playing your music out loud. I'm sorry.
No, probably not. Yeah.
It's pretty bad, dude. Yeah, it was like so angsty and douchey.
It was so funny when Schweiss was preparing for this episode. He looked up just the name of this fucking demo in Google.
Yeah.
And like the third result was a YouTube thumbnail that had the fucking guy from Limp Bizkit on it. Like on the thumbnail. It was like, oh my god, everybody's thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And also there was like a meme earlier this week that you shared with me. You said Greg shared it with you. It was
yeah, it's a fucking so it's an image from Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's Ramzan. It says bullshit, and then in parentheses plays Limp Bizkit on his phone and leaves. I was like, yeah, that's about right.
God.
It's just crazy. I don't know. It's so weird. It's like how how are we supposed to take this game seriously? It's supposed to be like a serious, like brooding, dark take on like Final Fantasy 1, but really it's just a brooding main character who's not, it's not dark, he's just kind of angsty is how it feels. Like he's just kind of in that upset era where he like
chaos,
where he legitimately likes Linkin Park, like he relates to it, not just like he remembers relating to it, but he still relates to it. It's like you're a little old to be relating to Linkin Park, buddy. Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. Yeah.
Just walking away, and then like Numb starts playing on your phone. It's just ridiculous.
Become so numb. 45 years old.
Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, real numb there. It's just too much.
Even Linkin Park moved on.
Yeah, even they moved on, for God's sake.
Even they moved on.
But shit, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's unironically liking Linkin Park in your 30s. Like, and not as like a, man, I remember this back in the day. This is good. As a, like a deeply relating to kind of deal. And that's what he seems like. And that's the same problem I have with that Sabrina show I was bitching about earlier. It's like they're so moody on that level. And it's like, it's too much.
It's just not working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel about this fucking tone.
Unintentionally hilarious man, moody guy playing rap rock on his phone while turning away from the others. Like,
yeah,
so funny.
The only thing that it reminds me of is one of our buddies, when he got back from his mission, he always had headphones in, and it bugged me the second it happened. Like the very first time, I was like, what are you doing? He was like, oh, I'm catching up on music I missed out on while I was on my mission. I was like, why? Why are you doing that right now? We're having a poker night.
We're hanging out right now, and you have your fucking headphones on.
I was like,
Dick.
What the fuck are you doing?
Hey, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that when in a social situation. Don't have your fucking headphones in. What the fuck are you, 13 years old?
Yeah, it's weird.
I get it. You're angsty, or you're cutting yourself maybe while we're not looking, but Jesus Christ, not here.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
I had the same feeling when this happened in the game. I was like, oh my God.
Well, he was just trying to share it.
Yeah.
That equally annoying person who at poker night pulls out the phone to share a song. We're all gonna like really enjoy it right now in this situation.
Yeah. This is what ruins our poker nights every time, pretty much.
Oh, what? Have you guys seen this Poker Face video? God, I'm having flashbacks right now.
Yeah. Fucking Cameron. Put the phone down.
Look, let's just talk and enjoy each other's company and play the game.
Yeah, man. We got beer. We got poker. You don't need music. Then it just turns into an orgy. Oh, my turn.
Or flipping through your phone, looking at memes, and then shoving your phone in my face when you think you found a funny one. Like, how about you just be funny in real life for 2 seconds? You could share that with me when we're not in a social situation right now.
Yeah, that's true.
You could do it once or twice at that time, not every couple seconds.
Yeah, we know Jack at poker night. That's exactly what he would do with his angsty self.
Yeah, he'd turn on his fucking, this real great song came out from fucking Breaking Benjamin here. Let me just, you guys want to hear it too, right?
You guys are gay too, right? No, Jack, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, dude.
Oh, and every 2 seconds, the other characters yell the name Jack, which is pretty annoying. Jack.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Which is kind of like the second half of Titanic as well.
Yeah,
as Rose going after Jack. It's like it's every line of dialogue in the second half of Titanic. You're welcome, by the way. And that's what that reminded me, because I watched Titanic recently. We were playing that thing, and they were just kept on calling the name Jack. And I'm like, I'm so sick of people calling Jack. I'm so sick of people calling for Jack right now. If your name's Jack, I want to punch you in the fucking face.
Go by John, or don't have any friends. Yeah, dude. It's yeah, and it's weird because I've started to notice this with characters like in the background. It just seems like they make them. Like, you got to talk. Like, you got to say something. You know what I mean? And, like, when we're doing shit, like, as a group, we don't always have to be saying stuff. You know? Like, you could just, like, silently carry on. And, like, in these games, they can't ever do that. They can't just, like, do something and then just like, oh, okay, we're done, and then just like move on.
That's
they gotta have like a little like, oh, we got him, or Jack, good job.
This one's especially over the top though. So I'm thinking of Final Fantasy 15. I think they did like the banter thing. I think they actually got a real good groove in there. Like they really hit something on the head. Like that was the best part of 15. I thought was the four guys, and a lot of that is outside of cutscenes.
It is, yeah.
And this is like almost trying to do that, and then like overcorrecting and doing it too much. Almost.
Yeah,
but I mean that's just from our the demo. Who knows?
It's like, I don't know. It's like almost like a style checklist that they have. Like, okay, gotta have the banter, and like, all right, got the banter. It's like, well, yeah, but not really.
It's not really like character. It's not coming from the characters themselves. It's more like they have to say something here.
Yeah, like token bantering, I guess.
Token bantering.
I could call it. It's just like,
yeah,
it's just there because we gotta have
a little bit. Yeah, I didn't hate this demo. Like a lot of people seem to right now. Didn't hate it at all. Thought it was weird. It's a weird Final Fantasy game. I guess I'm looking forward to the real thing. We'll see what they reinterpret the story of FF1 to be. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoyed it, especially the fact that there's multiplayer. I enjoy that aspect.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I hope they streamline the job changing a little more, because you run into some of these fights and it'll be like, okay, you need the Lancer, and then I always just play as like the warrior or the beat stick guy. And then I'll run into a fight like 10 steps down the road where I really need the magic guy. And so I'm kind of hoping they mess with that a little bit. And I think what they did with like Devil May Cry 5 might be a better system, where they have you press like a button combo and you'll activate like a different style of gameplay basically from that character. And so it's kind of like this, but in this one you only have 2. And I think maybe if we had like 4 different options that you could just like quickly switch classes, that would make the combat a lot more fluid and a lot more like, okay, now it's time to hit this guy with this class. Whereas now it's like, well, I'm kind of stuck, so I can't really hit them with the one they're weak to. I just need to hit them with the one they're weaker to out of the ones I have. So there's a lot of customization. There's a lot of shit going on. I hope they streamline a little bit of it. And I did get better at it as I played, so I think it's just trying to get used to it. In conjunction.
Yeah, the controls are weird. I don't know if we've said that yet. The controls are just really, really not intuitive, and not like any other game you've really played outside of those other ones. Side of the games they're trying to copy, right?
Yeah, and even then it's weird compared to those.
Like the attack button is the trigger button, which I've only ever seen in shooters, and it's weird for that to be like my arm swing button. You know? It's just weird. It's just not intuitive to me.
I think playing it alongside playing the Demon's Souls remake was really fucking me up in both of those games, because like the controls are not quite the same, and like I'll be doing like, I'll try to parry and like block and do shit and that I would do in Demon's Souls, and I just get fucking massacred by Garland.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I wonder why they're doing it. Like they're having a totally different studio make this game. I wonder, like, what's the point of even doing, unless that studio approached them, but I don't know.
Well, it's Team Ninja. You know what other game they worked on for this podcast? Very bottom tier.
Type 0?
No.
What one? I can't remember.
More bottom tier on our list.
Crystal Bears.
Even more.
Even more? Dirge?
No, it's Dissidia.
Oh, Dissidia. Oh.
Yeah.
And there's things about Dissidia I like.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I played a lot of
Dissidia.
Fuck's sake.
No, don't do it.
Yeah. Good.
Good.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I see it.
All right, we got a couple of reviews and questions. Skull Hottie says, Stranger Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. I thought it was solid, but definitely flawed. Contrary to the host, sorry.
The horse.
Like the soul absorb / block ability. It's not that I don't like it, I just don't get it. And the option to dodge and normal block are also needed to make the gameplay keep its depth. So although it takes a lot to get used to, I think it's needed to make the game work and a little unique. It does take some get good scrub. Garland is legit hard, though, and that's when you find a way to play well. I went back a week or so later and took a while to get back to where I was skills-wise. I'm excited for the potential of this. We'll see when it actually comes out. Question. What did you think of the stoic, tough and gruff main character playing shitty music on his phone / music player after beating the boss? I included get the fucking MP3 player out of this medieval setting on my survey. Oh, that's another good point. Yeah, you're in like this crazy castle thing. There's magic and swords and shit, and the guy pulls out a cell phone, and it's really off-putting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you can't figure out the tone. Like, what are we supposed to think about this?
Yeah, it's like they're taking like the later Final Fantasies and like stuffing it into the first one, which was clearly only a fantasy game.
Yeah. Not fantasy meets modernity.
Roxos agrees the ringtone made me cringe a little bit.
Yeah. Skull also says he
There's
almost
a whole
lost
conversation here.
Yeah. He's like pissed off, freaking out. He also has a follow-up question. Now that it's been a few days, have you had any draw to play it again? Do you think you'd buy it if the podcast didn't exist?
Would I buy it if the podcast... I still would be a Final Fantasy fan, but I probably wouldn't have beat every Final Fantasy. And if I had a PS5 or wanted a PS5, I might buy it. I don't know if I'd beat that game because I wouldn't have ever played Bloodborne, and then I'd start playing this and I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. I think that's probably about where I'd be because I've always liked and, thought about buying all the Final Fantasy games even before the show. So I probably would get it, but I don't know if I would play it completely. I mean, I didn't even finish 13 for 10 years, basically.
Yeah.
Well, not 10, but it hasn't been out for 10. I guess I know it has.
It has.
29.
It's been out for 12.
Shit. Well, I put it down for a very long time. So I would probably do that. Did I have draw to play it again? Now, that's an interesting question. I did play it again, but I played it out of a sense of duty, and then I didn't even finish it because I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out of here. I'm done. I got pissed off because I was like, I'm tired of fighting these basic fuckers just to die.
You went into Spotify and found the song Break Stuff and started playing that out loud as you walked away from your PS5 shutting down.
Yeah, which then it, of course, popped a trophy for beating the game.
Frost on the final comment from our audience. It's a campy mess, but I think I actually enjoy that part of it. However, I haven't played a Dark Souls game, but if they're like this, then no thanks. Combat might as well be Dance Dance Revolution. Push O, X, R1, R1, R2, O square. Much prefer the FF7 remake combat. I do too. I prefer the FF7 remake.
Oh, easily, combat. Yeah. I wouldn't say Souls games are like this per se. This one's way more clunky and overcomplicated. Honestly, a lot of the times I don't even do the parrying and stuff in Dark Souls and Demon Souls. Like, I barely even block. I just fucking dodge roll and then find a good opening and start hacking at them. Like, you can get really into it. And like Bloodborne, I was really into parrying and stuff because that's Bloodborne.
That's what you have to do.
Yeah, and Bloodborne's smooth enough to do it. The other ones are not quite smooth enough, in my opinion, to do it unless you're like willing to spend a lot of fucking time getting all the timing down on all the enemies.
Right.
Which I wasn't willing to do until I got to Bloodborne. So it's kind of like those games, but yeah, I don't know. Like the Sekiro, it wants to be Sekiro more than it wants to be Dark Souls. And if you play Sekiro, you'll see how it doesn't quite do that. It's like it's just sloppier. But that is also, it is like a Dance Dance Revolution game. Sekiro is like a rhythm game, basically, where you got to keep you got to parry to the rhythm of their attacks. And it's cool to me. It's like fucking awesome because it's like a sword fight. It's like what I imagine an actual fight would be. It's like a dance almost, It's like whoever can like knock the other person off kilter first is the one that wins.
Okay.
But this game is not a dance. This game is kind of mayhem a little bit.
A little bit.
I don't know. I like it though. I
thought it was all right.
I am looking forward to playing it with you and hopefully somebody else.
Yeah, hopefully they keep the multiplayer in there.
Yeah.
I think they're planning on it, so.
If not, I don't know, man, because those NPCs are idiots. Like, they helped a lot at times, but then there's other times where the boss only focuses on me.
I'll also be playing it in bitch mode
Yeah.
Happily.
Story mode. It'll be
Story mode.
It'll be near Automata all over again, where you just have to hold the attack button.
Yeah, oh my god.
I'm surprised more people don't give you shit about that.
Why don't people give that game shit about that?
It'll be for enabling you.
What's wrong with a game on if you have an easy mode? Why can't it still be a fucking game?
I don't know. That's
like
a good
every
question.
other game, and they're just like, well, fuck you. Why even have different things if that's how they feel about it? You know, why even have different difficulty levels if they're just like, fuck the people who play this on easy? Maybe they have a podcast. They need to beat this game really quick. They don't want to be stuck.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, I almost wonder why they didn't just make some alteration just to make the story, you know, like maybe quick scenes of you moving from area to area. Because, like, you got those YouTube videos that are like Final Fantasy X, the movie. You know what I mean? It's all the cutscenes from 10. But that doesn't really tell you the whole story. So, like, if they want to do a story mode, maybe give you, like, a little bit of, like, an idea of what the world is through, like, mini cutscenes of you walking to the next area, and then do the story bits.
Without it being interactive, it will never be as good. It's just one of those things. But, like, I'm just thinking we've been playing a lot of Halo, right? Halo in easy mode is still a fucking game.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And I played it as a kid. I played it in easy mode a couple times, right? Like, I played a few levels in easy mode. And you can still die, but the enemies are it just takes less bullets to kill them, and they're less aggressive towards you. And that's it.
Yeah, you don't need to make it a non-game.
Yeah, you don't have to make it a non-game for the easy mode. I get it. Like, you're being elitist fucks. Like, fuck you. I'll take more points down in my review of that because you chose to make an easy mode not a game.
Yeah.
Which I did do on that review. I really like that game, but the story was great. The combat, as I saw I was playing it, was fun. But no, I switched it to easy mode quite a bit. Yeah,
I don't know. It's all right. That's one of the other things that's like a defining thing in the Souls games is there's no difficulty. It's just one set difficulty.
Yeah.
And no matter how many people cry about accessibility, they don't say a word. And that's why they're kind of like, I don't know, they're like legendarily stoic. It's like they're just like, people will get pissed and be like, give us an easy mode, give us this. And it's just like, nothing. No words. No words. That's exactly how it should be. No fucking talk of game release unless you're ready, and then no words in between, and then game comes out, game sells well, no words.
I do like that, but at the same time, I like behind the scenes stuff, so I always like to, I don't know. I have two different minds about that kind of thing.
That's true, yeah. It is cool seeing, like, you know, the behind the scenes making of stuff. It just gets into a shit show when they have a release date and then they miss it, or like something like that, like Final Fantasy 15, where it's like a fucking train wreck coming out. You know, they have this huge big ass event with like a fucking spokesperson and all this shit, and then they miss the fucking boat by 2 months. It's like, yeah, see, that's a little much.
Yeah. All right. Well,
but
all right. Well, fuck this. We'll be back. Hopefully, we're planning in 2 weeks for Secret of Evermore. If you guys want to go into the reviews and questions section of the Discord, which the link will be in the description of this episode, right?
Of course.
Then please join the Discord and please ask your questions about Secret of Evermore and give us, you know, your opinions. If you've ever played Secret of Evermore, we'd like to hear them. It's an old classic Square game that has not had a re-release since it came out, which is surprising.
Yeah, we had to break out the retro consoles for this one.
Yeah, we did. So that's what we're going to be playing over the next little bit. And then we'll be back into 14 in some way. I'm not sure right now. Like, I'm in my life, I'm not sure where 14's going to fit. So we have to discuss that off air, I think. But so there might be a chance that 14 gets moved, or maybe we slowly play through 14 while playing other games. That might happen too. I definitely don't want to put the podcast on hold because we can't get that much time in 14.
Yeah, we'll look at the format of the game too, and if you can play, like I said earlier, the single player stuff, like And we can meet up once a week on the dungeon or whatever, like we
Yeah.
did for a while. We'll look at and see what that looks like. And you got to check your internet. Who knows if it'll even work.
Yeah, we'll see.
So,
All right, guys. Join the Discord. You can tweet at us. I'm at Joseph Vigolier.
at UFF Podcast for me.
But the best way to get a hold of us is join the Discord. And thank you to all those who listen to this thing and share with a friend and leave us your iTunes reviews. And you can join on the Patreon if you want to help support the show as we're in our twilight years.
Yeah. We're just taking a really long time to die.
Yeah, taking a super long time to die.
Just harvesting those Social Security checks along the way. Never gonna die.
And please check out our other show, Nude Clan, which is a great video game podcast. And it's a lot of fun, really funny. Been going through the Halo games lately.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 8 review we just did. So if you guys want to check that out, please do. And we'll see you guys next time.
Enjoy the grind.